To get you financed. ABSA, going off the beaten track to find solutions.
This is our look back at the FIA African Heritage Cross Country Race in East London in the Eastern Cape. And on the opening day, the Norwegian adventurer Ivar Tollefsen and the Quinn Evans combination was a fine one.
Yesterday was excellent. We had a very good run through the stage, and we managed to pull out a bit of a lead on the BMW behind us, so it was good.
And today's game plan?
We need to just maintain the pace, really. It's still early, it's going to be a long event, and we'd like to keep out in front, but you know, there's a lot happening today, and we want to just try and make sure we're safe.
For Tollefsen, it would have been ideal to see a few cars ahead. Did they like leading?
No, not really. We'll be the first car on the road today. Obviously, it's a little bit more slippery because it's fairly loose on the top, so it's good to get 5 or 10 cars together away. But then again, if you one day want to win, you need to get used to lead and open. So I think it's good for us to do that. And with the tracks we saw yesterday, it won't be a problem. And first 80k today is the same as yesterday, so all that's been rubbed off nicely. I think that'll be okay.
No problems with the car?
Car is good. Built here in South Africa.
We'll make a South African out of him yet, yeah. For the Italians, things were quick, too quick, and a little funny too.
But yesterday is very, very funny. It's the first time in the South Africa race. It's very, very funny, very, very fast. We go very, very, very fast. Not normally cross the other car in the special stage, but now we know with the system it's okay. Very funny and very fast race yesterday. Today we go to see.
What's your plan for today?
But today we go to see because it's very long day. This is a T2 car. It's not a prototype, and in the rocks in the hole we don't go too fast because a broken car, and for 500 kilometers is too much. We had no assistance because 15 minutes it's nothing. And today we go to see, and after when you redo the same track in reverse, possible attack in front of if you not have in front of Narinsky with the other T2. TT1 is not important for us.
So Garosci and Briani had a rude awakening to the South African conditions, and the Italian-based team, with all its experience, had some more to add to the resume. They were more than 11 minutes down, but were leading in Class T2. But the man leading that class was Tollefsen. He slotted into the Nissan team seamlessly this year and has been a great asset to manager Glenn Hall and his team. They were lying third in the National Championship. Stage 2 from the overnight stop at the Fish River Song would be a tough one of more than 500 Ks, and it needed a lot of concentration and application. Nobre and Palmyra had both early on. X-rayed BMW X3 flying the Brazilian flag with its Portuguese navigator aboard was doing a good job of holding station and setting a good pace, but still falling further back behind the Navara. Garosci and Briani were gingerly picking their way along, determined to make it to the finish rather than setting any fastest intermediate times. As for Fantonda and Guapa, they were giving it horns. The Unifreight Ford Ranger was enjoying the fast sweeping roads, and so was the crew inside. The Zermattens had clocked up 2 did not finish as early on in the season, but after the Botswana 1000, they were ready to do battle again, and here they were hoping to prove that their old consistency was back again. brothers White were also going very well in the Rurikon back, David at the wheel and Gary Corley. Soudnote locked Dio in the Toyota about 15 minutes behind them to keep them honest. Ramon and Stefan only recently started their off-road careers and have impressed all and sundry with their quick improvement, and there's a lot more where that has come from. And there was a large surprise waiting in the Amatole Mountains. A white and thick blanket of snow was waiting for the racers as they wound their way to the top and the designated service point. Tollefson and Quinn got there first.
It was a difficult start in the morning. We had the sun literally just into the car, 1 meter above the horizon, and we were driving just into the sun for the first 70-80k. So that was very awkward, sitting like that and driving one hand all the way. But I think we gained a minute on the BMW there on the first 87k. Then I'm afraid we lost the same minute on the next one. I'm not sure, but we went wrong on one turn, had to come back again, and it was very slippery in the woods. Really, it was sliding. Last bit coming down here, little bit of snow, but not enough. But it's beautiful.
Standing here looking around you must make you feel at home.
It's extremely beautiful, really.
For Tollefson, like home, and ditto for some of the other racers from overseas. But then again, not quite so for the man from Brazil, Paulo Nobre, in the X-Raid X3 BMW, which was looking rather worse for wear.
Yeah, it's funny because Rally dos Sertões, that is our rally, has some special states that reminds a lot here, and the only thing is not that cold. And it was my first time driving in a rally with ice and snow. It's really scary.
And looking around, you know, with snow on the mountains.
No, it's fantastic because, like, people cannot think that there is snow and mountains like that in Africa, but it's funny. We are in Africa and with snow and everything. Very interesting.
While the pit crew were doing their best to sort out the little irritations on the Beamer, the Pajero turned in for home, and they were very glad to see the designated service point. For the Italian crew in the Rally Art Mitsubishi, it was a day with a taste of a trip around the whole globe, all in one long round trip.
Everything is okay, it's fantastic. In the same race, I've seen the scenario of Monte Carlo Rally, New Zealand, 1,000 lakes in Suomi, Finland. Incredible.
And the weather out there today, mountains and the snow, this is Africa.
I hope that it's incredible, but it's Africa. When I see the snow, the first time I see, we round the road, it's not Africa.
And the route?
The route is very good. We go slowly because at the moment we are leader in the T2. No one after us, no one before. And actually we run for fun. I'm here for this reason.
And they were clearly having a lot of that. As Tollefson hit the road after his compulsory 15-minute stopover, the sun started warming proceedings up ever so slightly. And then the BMW got its marching orders for the ride home too. Tollefson and Quinn were putting together a command performance. With a little two-door diesel Pajero sailing along at its own clip, managing the rocky and undulating parts very well. The Zermattens from the East Rand were also going solidly and were just 90-odd seconds off Tollefson's pace in the first leg and not far off it in the first half of the second stage either. The Whites were setting the second fastest time for the day's racing in the invitational event, while Van Tonder and Guapa were letting it all hang out on top of the mountain. Besaidnout and Locke were next, with the Amatole 500 participants Michael Whitehouse and Dean Langton in the Region Pat trying to find a way past. Tollefson and Quinn, though, were dominating the African Heritage cross-country race's second stage completely. They were ahead by almost 20 minutes at this stage and getting further ahead with every turn of the wheel. A very impressive drive. And the one good thing about that for Brazil's Paulo Nobre and his Portuguese navigator Felipe Palmeiro and their X-Ray BMW X3 was that there was no dust in front of them. The Whites were through next, and they were obviously relishing their chance to compete next to the overseas teams and big names. While the other sibling team in the invitational event, the Zermattens, were doing a good job with their Ryobi Nissan, even though they've been plagued by small problems that have bedeviled their 2007 campaign. Van Tonder and Guapa were making the Ford Ranger sing to their tune, and they were playing sweet music to go along with it. With Besaidnout and Locke also in full cry on the way home. Besaidnout is a former bike racer, so he knows how to read the terrain, and it shows in his fine driving. At the line after stage one, it was Tollefson and Quinn in the Nissan Navara who brought it home in 7 hours and 9 minutes, and that gave them a healthy 30-minute lead over the men in the X-Ray Beamer in second. For the locals, the Whites held sway by just 6 minutes over the Zermattens.
Vehicle and asset